Glad to have you back. Let's get into finalizing this masterpiece. Here I am using my small flathead brush to pack in tan and white paints for the rocks. The rocks come in many sizes, so you want to dab in different variety of shapes. Here I am wet brushing and lightly grazing in some white paint for the ripples. Next, I'm going to focus on the pile of rocks in the foreground. I first packed my brush with the shadow color and then dipped it in the white. You are not blending these two colors together, you're just dabbing them on the canvas. This technique creates variation of colors within each rock. Here I'm even packing in some darker browns so all of the rocks do not look the same. Here I'm going in with my small round brush to add some shadows under the rocks. Next, I'm going in with pure white paint and adding some highlights to the top of the rocks. Here I'm brushing in some light green for the bushes of the flowers. I'm using the side of my brush to create quick, swift brush strokes. And here I'm just kind of scumbling in some of that color towards the middle so it can give that bush-like feel. To get sharper lines for the blades of grass, you can wet your brush. Here I'm just going in with some medium yellow, applying it to every plant. Next, I am taking my small round brush and wet brushing in some of the stems for the flowers. Here I'm just adding some little buds for the ones that haven't bloomed yet. And with this color, I'm just using the shadow paint for the first layer. I will go back in and follow up with the light green for the stems. Here I am applying my first layer for the flowers. I'm adding white to the mix so that the flowers can really pop against that green. Medium yellow by itself is a bit transparent, so that's why I'm applying some of that white to really bring out the yellow. So once you allow that first layer to dry a bit, then you can go back over and paint in some more of that medium yellow on top. Here I'm digging deeper by paying attention to each flower and defining its petals. I've dabbed in a tint of orange for some of the flowers just to give them a generalized depth. Next, I am painting in the tree that is placed in the foreground with a black and green. This will be my first layer of shadows before I go back and apply the highlights for the leaves. Here I'm going in with a bright green to make those leaves stand out and pop. I'm gonna let that first layer dry a bit and take a step back to see any finishing details I can add to the canvas. I decided to jump back to this tree and add some money green. Remember what I said about just being free, having fun, and going with your heart. These patterns do not have to be precisely accurate to the reference picture. Just place them where you think they belong. Now I'm just going to take a step back and pay attention to the landscape as a whole to add any finishing details. Here I'm going in and applying a little bit more sparkle to that leg with flat white. I really love painting water, so this is such a fun part for me. It really signatures the piece and brings it all together. And voila, we are done. Feel free to share your own landscape painting with us in the Classified Creators group. Ciao!